Hey, what's going on, guys? X here, and today we're taking a look at the Transformers Masterpiece MP-14C Clampdown. Now, this figure comes with a few accessories, so let's go ahead and take a look at those. You are going to get a red blaster rifle, and it's just molded in this red plastic, so pretty plain. Then you're going to get this launcher, which was also molded in this red plastic. You can kind of see from the inside there, but has some black paint on it, and also some silver paint to kind of break it up a little bit. Then you also get these two pawl drivers, which one is, or they're both hollow at this end, but you do have some nice little black paint on there. They're kind of glossy looking, so pretty nice. And you also get the instructions and the card, which we haven't opened. We don't need to. At least I hope not. I've got 5 of these things. And then you get the coin that you can see there. So I never try to subscribe to get the coin. I know sometimes there's like stuff with coins or without coins, but I think because this was kind of a, I think it was like a limited edition. I'm sure you'll still be able to get your hands on one. So they usually don't, or at least a lot of the limited edition ones, they haven't been really selling out that much, except for the Bathing Ape stuff. Sells for quite a bit, but yeah, here you go with Clampdown. Now, like I said, I've got 5 official ones of these, and then I have the one gold one that's knockoff, so I really don't count that one. But this is one that I'm probably displeased with the most as far as some flaws with it. There's a couple of things on here that kind of bother me. One, this right here, it doesn't seem like it wants to connect all the way. I've transformed it back and forth once, and I've undone this section again. I've tried to transform it again and press it in there, make sure it's tight in there. But it seems that there's a little piece that's pressing this out, so you can kind of see that black gap. So that's not black paint in there. That's just the gap. But you've seen that with a lot of them. So I took Tiger Tracks here, and you can see that there is that gap there because this is supposed to this is separate pieces here. But you can see that it's not as big on this guy to where on this one you can see it's a little bit more, especially down here. So I don't know if it's the way they cut it or what, but yeah, just something I wanted to point out. The other thing is, if I can catch it in the light, there's a little bit of a paint blemish right there. Now it's still all white, but to where it's not as smooth like the rest of the parts of the car are. It's just like almost like some little extra white paint spilled on it right there. So very minor. It's really even, I have to get it in that glare, but I don't know if that's picking up. But something that I wanted to make sure that I pointed out. Now, like I've mentioned this in every, I think, single review that I've done before, is these are issues with my particular figure. You might not have those issues, and you might have those plus more. It's just something, all I can do is tell you what's going on with my figure, the goods, the positives, and the bads. And you have to make your determination whether this is something you want to invest your money into. But as far as the rest of the vehicle, this is always, from Sideswipe, the first mold, to where these don't get together completely all the way. There's usually like a little bit of gap here at the bottom of these doors. Same thing with here. So they don't always connect like that. I wish they would just, this would stay pushed in a little bit better, but unfortunately it does not. But as far as the lines staying neat, where the black meets the white, everything is pretty clean going all the way around. And the same with this side over here. All the lines going, it's just a nice straight line, and there's not any like white spilling into black or black spilling into the the white. So very nicely done. Other than that, those are really my only issues. Now, a couple of things I wanted to point out with mine. It comes equipped. If you look at the siren here, it does detach or anything. It's not broken, but you can see that the peg is on one side. It actually comes equipped with it this way, and I personally don't like it. I don't like it directly in the middle. I like it kind of set off to the back a little bit, and it seems to fit in there a little bit better as well. As you can see, that looks a little bit more flush to where I should have showed you already, but when we do it this way, it kind of angles back a little bit. So it's just something that I wanted to point out. So it just looks a little bit better that way. So I changed it. But that's the way it came equipped. Now, as far as the accessories, pretty common that this, but those can attach together, and then you can just put this plugs into the siren, or you can take the siren off and plug it into that other hole, but there you go. And this can go up and down, and there you go. And it can be a little Mad Max vehicle. So All right, so I want to also point out one other little thing. And as far as transformation, I'm going to go from car to robot and then go back to car. So if you need both transformations, I'll be able to help you out. I looked on every single masterpiece that is one of the Lamborghini Countachs. So you're talking, Sideswipe Red Alert, G2 Sideswipe, Tiger Track, and also this one. The other four that have been previously released, it has the Lamborghini, as you can see right here. They're all the same font and about the same size, nothing too drastic. The L is lowercase, and the Countach is about that thick and about that big. Now we're going to take a look at deep covers. We can get this to focus a little bit better. You can see the Lamborghini is a little bit thinner and the L is capitalized. This is the only vehicle to where the L is capitalized where Lamborghini is. And the Countach is a little bit, different. It's like a different font. Now, I don't even think a KO's out of this guy yet. I mean, this guy just came out himself. But I got this at BBTS. I usually don't tell people where I get stuff because, you can shop wherever you want to. Those companies aren't paying me anything. But I wanted to make sure you guys knew because they do not sell like KO stuff. So this is definitely an authentic, but there are some changes there where the Lamborghini, where it's capitalized the L, and also Countach is in a different font. All the rest of them are exactly the same, with Tiger Track here. So it's just something that I thought was a little weird, but I wanted to bring up. All right, but as you can see, just a little 360. We're already almost 7 minutes in. We haven't transformed it yet, but it does roll quite nice. Just some things I wanted to point out with him. All right, so getting into the transformation, the first thing we're going to do is take these wheels and you're going to push those in, just like so. You're going to take the door and just get your finger like right here and grab those and pull the doors out like so. There we go. And just keep them out to the side. Now with this section here, you're going to push down. With this right here, you want to put your thumb down and your thumb down there. Because as you can see, those tabs are right up underneath there. And these little tabs, they're, this like glass, or it's not glass, but you know what I'm talking about. This windshield material that's a little bit more fragile than the plastic here. So just want to be careful, so that way you don't break that off. But you can go ahead and come all the way down with this. Go ahead and put the arms in the touchdown mode, and you can just leave it like so. Then you can detach this. With this, you're going to pull this way, but also like lifting up like so. So these little sections here, they slide out from there, and just leave that just like so. Now you got to leave that and then go to the legs, and we're going to separate this and separate right there, and we can start to come about halfway. And again, I know a lot of you guys probably have this figure, have many forms of him, but I want to make sure that every single one of these masterpiece reviews, I want to talk to you as if this is your first masterpiece, so that way I'll be able to help you out if you need. So, but with this section here, we only came down halfway. You're going to start to rotate this section here. You can see right here. Go about halfway with that. Then you can fully extend the leg. The feet, go ahead and push those down and pull out the heel spur. Do the same thing with this one here. And while pulling this down, you're going to rotate this section up, and then you're going to pull this all the way down like so. Actually, we want to come down with the feet a little bit. Do the same thing with this. Rotate that up, and until it won't go anymore. Now you don't want to come all the way up with this section yet, so that's when we pull the feet down. Come down with that, and you can open this. And I wish I still had fingernails, but pull that little section out. And you can see there's a tab there. There's a hole right there. You can see it, and you're going to snap that into place. And also, whenever you snap that, there's this section here. Where'd it go? I think right there. That's going to fit on top. So go ahead and tab that in again, and you'll snap that over it. There we go. Now with this section here, you're going to lift up. That's going to fit in there. Go ahead and extend the feet all the way to now, and come back with a spoiler there. And then this section is going to just pull down. Just like that. And now you have the leg done. Go ahead and do it on this one. Go a little bit faster. Pull that out. Connect that in the hole and fit that section over that. You can pull up here. And go ahead and come out with the foot. Spoiler will fit in the back and then come down with this section. Now you're going to pull down the crotch piece right there. And with this, there's two joints here. So this first one, you can see that we're going to bend all the way back, and that'll click into place and it'll hold there very well. This section is going to bend right here, and it's going to fold up on top of this. There is a little, I don't know if it's picking up in the light, but there's a little slot there that's going to plug into this section here. So, and you're going to come down with that. That'll click into place. Click in the front or the hood there, and then you can come down with the arms and rotate those. Wish this little section would clip in here or something a little bit better to hold it. You can go ahead and come down with the head, and then with the back section here, you want to be careful. There's these tabs that are right up under here, so you're going to kind of lift up and get them around that. So you can kind of see that they're very small. And then when you fold this up, you're going to fold it up underneath each other. So do the same thing here. Get that past that tab, and then fold it up underneath, just like so. And whenever you come down with this section, or these are going to actually fit right up under here. So it's right up against his back, which looks good. All right, so for these little pile drivers, but that's basically the transformation unless you want to do the pile drivers, then those would fit in here. So you can pose them or do whatever you want to do with those. But I usually don't display them that way. I like to use as guns, but just take those out and come out quite easy. The hands, you're going to open this section up, flip this out, and close it back up, and do the same. Alright, so with his weapons, I'm going to put this on this side just because that's what it showed on the box, so that's what I'm going to do. There we go. And his gun, I've got a few issues with the hands here. I've tried it on both. There's like a little notch right here, and there's a slot in his hand, just like all the other Masterpiece figures. But when you get it in there, you're supposed to be able to stick it in there, and you don't really even have to clamp his hand. Now, for some reason now it's working, but for some reason on this guy, it hadn't been working very well. Like I actually had to use the clamp on the hand to hold the gun, so it was a little bit loose, but for some reason it's working now. So strange. But there's a look at Clampdown, and I think it's as far as, you know, I love this mold. We've got a lot of it, but I still love it. I want a deep cover now. So a little 360. And then you want to bring in, you know, one of his bros here. This is actually who it is molded after. So as you can see from, take your craziness off, the heads, you can see that they are exactly the same there. And also with the you know, tires here, where if you look on a figure like Sideswipe, he's got the different ears and the different shoulders. So. But we'll look at them. As you can see, that gun just comes really loose. Yeah, so it keeps on falling out of the slot in the hand. But it'll be alright. Okay, now as far as articulation goes, the head does rotate left to right. It can look up and down. The shoulder, it does rotate here. It goes in and out. He does rotate at the bicep. The elbow does bend 90 degrees. As far as sprue marks, there's kind of a really bad one right there. You can see the one here. Looking at the other figures, they all kind of have it. Red Alert has, but they're not as bad as this. So that's kind of an eyesore. I'm going to have to sand that. But as far as the rest of the articulation, the hands, they do rotate and they do open up. It's just a clamp, so no individual fingers. The waist does rotate here. The legs forward, back, go out all the way. They rotate here at the thigh, and he's got a 90-degree bend here at the knee. The ankles, they do have a little bit of ankle tilt, as you can kind of see right there. And, I guess you could do a little bit of front and back, but it's going to look silly. So it's just, doing different transformations. But as far as, the posability, I think it's fine. You can get some pretty cool poses with this guy. Just wish this was like a little bit tighter. This one seems to be tight, but this one right over here, it's moving pretty freely. This one, it's in place. So another little thing that I've kind of got a problem with him, I guess. But that's Clampdown, so let's go ahead and get this guy back into his Lamborghini mode. So first thing that I'm going to do, and I don't want to make it seem like I don't like the figure, but, I've always wanted to base my videos more on these are the facts, here's the positives, the negatives, and instead of, hey, I like this, so you should go buy it, we might have completely different opinions on what we like, so I just never wanted to, really do reviews on that. So sometimes I'll say, hey, I definitely do like this, so I think it's worth picking up. But for the most part, I just try to point out the facts, positives, negatives, and this guy's got some positives, but he's got some negatives. So that's a decision whether you want to pick him up. That's something you're going to have to decide. But we're going to put him in the touchdown dance that you see there. We're going to lift up here, and we're going to go ahead and fold these out and around. And just be careful again with that little piece. You can see it's sitting on that white. Don't just come up with it, otherwise you're going to eventually start to scratch that paint. So just kind of lift it past it. There you will go. And you see that gap I was talking about, like you can see it right there. Just, it's a little bit of an eyesore. But we're going to do the same thing with this guy over here. Lift that past that. And, we've got it flush up against there the way it's supposed to. And this side's not so bad, but this one is. It looks like this, when they cut it, they went in some. So it looks like that's the problem. But we're going to unplug here. Go ahead and come sideways with the arms. And, you know what, let's go ahead and pop the head open. And we're just going to come back like this and come down with this waist section, so you can see how that popped back in there. And we'll just leave that be. This, we're going to come up with the legs. We're going to come back with this section and do the same over here. The feet, we can go ahead and collapse those and rotate those to the center. Go ahead and move those. Pop those and pull this section up and close that. Do the same over here. And start to rotate this, and then you want to start turning. Once you get it at a 90-degree angle, start turning this, and you can go ahead and move this back into place. Do the same thing over here. Get it about 90 degrees and start turning, and then you can go ahead and put this back lined up with the rest of the lights. And when you come down with this, there are these two little tabs there where I guess you would imagine the seats would be, and you can see that there are holes here on the bottom of the feet, so those are going to just post up there to keep that secure. And this one's going to do the same thing. It's going to just post right there. I've got this done already, right? Yeah. There we go. We didn't have the knee straightened out for some reason, so that was giving me some problems. But go ahead and we can come down all the way with this, and come down all the way with this, and now we can connect these. You can see all this clipped together, and then this section clipped together. You can go ahead and come down with that if you like as well. Then with this section, just make sure those are popped in. You're going to come back with this and slide this in. Sometimes it doesn't get the tabs in there. It did, this time, but you just kind of work the doors around and get them in there. Then with this section, you can come all the way back, and just remember those tabs right there. Make sure that that fits. Come down with the doors, and just make sure those all line up. Push those in, and then you can come out with the wheels. And there you have them transformed again, so you can kind of get an idea. All the little things that I mentioned before. You've seen us go from the transformation, back and forth both ways, and you still got those gaps that I mentioned. Still got, that gap up there. So just, a couple of things I wanted to make sure you're aware of. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, the review, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.